So anyway, to wrap things up tonight, there's a video game out called Helldivers 2.
Mm-hmm.
Very popular. So much so that it's like their servers are like at capacity. Like they don't have the server space. They did not expect the game to be as popular as it is. I have it. I have yet to play it, but I know that it is kind of like a spiritual successor in themes and style of like Starship Troopers, because you're on this place called like Super Earth, and your whole thing is to air quotes liberate and these foreign planets with bugs and robots and shit, and it's really like kind of like a satire on colonialism.
Yeah.
That's the word. And much like Starship Troopers. But because that game is so popular and so comparable and intentional, I think, that people started talking about Starship Troopers. Now, you and I did a retrospective last year. It was the 25th anniversary of that movie. We've talked how much we love that movie.
It's so fucking
We got
good.
our fucking credentials out of the way.
So good.
Okay, so we're super fans. I got a goddamn Steelbook Blu-ray.
It's so good.
Nobody buys Blu-rays but me.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I might watch it when I get home tonight.
Well, anyway,
well, you can, but right now
there's a popular Twitter thread
uh-huh.
Going around. I don't remember this user's name, and you can find it. I found it. You can find it. Fucking Google shit. Stop looking at me for... Anyway, this thread, because of Helldivers 2, talks about how Starship Troopers was not as good as you think. Watching the movie, so he said it was a bad parody, which I want to get out of the way. It's not a parody. It's a satire. There's a difference. Because a parody, you're spoofing a genre. You're spoofing something. This is satirical.
So satire, the best satire holds a mirror up to its.
And this is how you know it's a good satire, because the fascists still don't understand that it's fascist propaganda.
Yep.
So watching the movie, it was clear. This is the first tweet. It was clear the director was aiming for a campy, over-the-top depiction of the Terran Empire or Terran Federation. Perhaps not an outright mockery, but certainly a drastic departure from the serious novel. Again, Verhoeven has said he never finished the book. He hated the book because he didn't agree with the politics of it. And he made this as fascist propaganda to mock the book and mock its themes.
Which is funny because the book itself is mocking.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a confusion because he said he never finished the fucking book. So there you go. So then he goes on. First, let's tackle... This one gets me right out of the gate, this first tweet on this thread. First, let's tackle a writing pitfall that irks leftists to this day. If you make your characters naturally handsome, fit, and well-groomed, then it becomes increasingly difficult to properly mock them. Beauty is self-evident, and all characters in Starship Troopers are good-looking. No shit! Paul Verhoeven himself said he wanted them to look sexy and beautiful and wanted the society to look perfect because it's propaganda. He's showing you how it seduces you and how so many people in this country have fallen for that kind of shit.
Dude, when you get down to it, what people fail to recognize is that the way the movie starts and the way the movie ends,
it's desperate.
No, you have just watched a recruiting video.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Would you like to know more?
All throughout the fucking movie, right?
And
it's because you're at one of those stations watching this for an hour and a half or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's lionized. It's
So I kind of touched on this. Next tweet. This extends the overall Terran Federation as well. We see clean, beautiful streets. Life seems good for Rico and his polite high school, and this is a far cry from the crime-ridden and drug-addicted cities we know today, where all the homeless encampments... Where are the homeless encampments, the ghettos? Again, I've already addressed it. That's the whole point. It's propaganda. Everything that is told to you is a lie.
Now, you remember like beer commercials or like Axe body spray commercials, those types of things where it's like, hey, if you do this, women will like you, what have you. That's a very low level and propaganda. It's not real, but it's meant to seduce you at your basest desires. And so if you're watching this propaganda, everybody's good looking, whether you are or not, you're going to want to be around them good looking people. And that means joining the service.
And you are meant to view it as someone
Being
who
a
lives
fascist.
there.
Yeah. Yes.
You are with Rico that whole time.
This movie is so much deeper than even we realize. And we've watched it a billion times.
But that's the thing that is funny too. So much of this, yeah. There's so many other people have been coming out and talking about this movie too, and some people are pointing out the beginning of the movie when they're dissecting the bugs, they talk about how perfect it is because it just obeys. They're not.
Fucking Blanche from Golden Girls.
I don't know if you
dude.
know this, but there's a little bit. There's no subtlety at all. The hammer is brought on your head several times. They look like fucking Nazis by the end of the movie, and even Verhoeven is like, "The Nazis."
The Nazis, duh. What are you, stupid?
Can we nail the Terran? Another one. Can we nail the Terran Empire for being cruel? I guess, but when you play off cruelty as a joke, you are undermining your own message. This isn't dialogue about the brutal conditions for training soldiers with soldiers in a futuristic setting. Goodness, this is a gag and it's hilarious. He's talking about when his hand gets stuck to the wall. It is funny. All right, what about a critique of comparison? Perhaps the enemies of the Terran Federation have a better system. Oh wait, no, they're bugs. I've seen people genuinely argue that the bugs are supposed to be sympathetic, but they're still bugs. Listen to what you are saying. You sound like them.
Yeah.
It's got to be a bit, dude, because how else can you not understand the irony of it? And that's what people keep saying. The discourse about this movie
a lot of people in this country do not understand irony, clearly.
It shows you how good it is as a satire and how sad it is that some of these people don't understand their own irony, what they're saying. That's the point.
Yes.
We engaged with the bugs, and they are losing the war. That's why they're so desperate and be like, hey, we got a fucking brain bug. Like how desperate they are at the end of the movie. And again, it's a war they picked up. They just like Nazis and how the Axis was in World War II. They fucking picked the fight with the wrong people. They fought back and they lost, and they were losing. And that's the kind of propaganda shit you would see.
Yes.
I'm not saying the bugs are fucking perfect. Yeah, they're bugs, but that's the point. Why fucking bother the bugs? What do they do to you?
Oh yeah, dude. In the waning wars, in the waning days of the theater in Europe. In World War II, yeah, the Nazis were absolutely putting out stuff like, hey, I know it looks bad now, but just wait. A couple days, everything's going to be fucking great, man.
I mean, look at
Führer's going to do some shit, man.
Look at conflicts now with
like,
Putin,
no.
Putin and how he talks
Oh,
about the
fuck
war
yeah.
effort with Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, you see this shit now. But
He's lying his ass off, dude.
All right, so what about a critique of comparison? Yeah, I already said that one. This.
Come on.
He's talking about the brain bug. This is not a face I can relate to, sympathize for, or even have dialogue with. This screams at me to kill it with fire. Even if I don't want to kill this thing, I want to be in orbit far away from this creature. It's horrific, and only a contrarian can argue against that. It has to be a bit. It has to be a bit. You can't be serious about this.
Also, the face looks like a giant butthole.
You typed that out and sent that, and didn't think about how you sound.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. This
has got to be a bit,
Yeah.
because if you truly believe this way, man, you really weirdly engage with this. And then finally, the only thing you can really critique about the Terran Federation is the propaganda and incompetence. But when everything is so slapstick, it fails at landing a serious point. These guys are badasses in a funny movie, not a warning about the dangers of fascism.
Badasses in a funny
Do you
movie?
know
in
almost
a funny movie?
Almost everybody but Rico dies in his team, and he barely survived. He almost died with his getting gashed in his leg.
No, I mean, granted, the three of them end up surviving, but there's a lot of really close friends who are killed along the way.
The love interest gets fucking murdered.
For both of them.
Yeah, both of their love interests, and they're only together because those other two died. What? They don't even like each other.
Yeah, and you know what? By the end of it, it's clear that they're not going to end up together. Because seriously, Rico's like, hey, fuck you, pilot.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my grunts.
Oh, you fucking telepathic Nazis.
Yeah, later, you fuckers. I'll go and fight your shit for you, but don't fucking talk to me.
Truthfully, we've talked about this. Engage with art how you want to engage with it.
Yeah.
But to so confidently say something wrong, and I'm not saying that you can't view it a certain way, but when the director very clearly states this was in my intention, this is what it means. It's kind of hard to argue.
Right.
You know,
But you can look. You can argue all you want until you're blue in the face. But what are you really doing when you're being contrarian and whatnot? I don't
like. I can't help but think of like how much you sound
fuck with people
like a character. Like you sound like these characters, which is a caricature.
Yes.
You don't sound. And look, do some people probably think this way, and maybe this person does think this way? Fine, that's how you want to engage with it, but I just want you to reconsider how you engage with it, because I feel like you're going to enjoy life more, and you're going to have a lot more fun if you don't be so fucking negative and hate everything and call everything woke and lame and stupid. And
if you don't like it, then just don't watch it.
Don't watch, and it's not an airport, dude. Don't announce your departure like, oh, I'm not watching this. I don't care. I don't care.
Can I tell you some things that I fucking cannot fucking stand? Let's do this. I cannot fucking stand reality television. Fucking Bachelor, all that fucking shit.
I kind of love it. I understand.
Somebody that I know, my mom loves that shit.
It's good shit.
Loves it. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I can get sucked into it if I'm over at her place.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, I get sucked into it. But I don't go on right now. I'm talking about it to prove a point. Never before and never after this will I talk about that, because I just don't need to talk about it.
Most of the time, unless we're talking,
I don't need to be on here like talking about how fucking reality TV is destroying.
I would say,
I don't know.
I would say since we've been doing this, of the things that I've reviewed, I think the thing that I've been the most negative about has been the Halo show, and even then, I have found things to talk about that I like. I've defended fucking Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance on this show. I don't want to go in hating things. That's my broader take on this.
Except for Madam Web.
I would say if people would actually go in with a legitimate open mind and engage with it at all,
right,
outside of having, and look, yes, you're going to have your bias. That's
right,
the whole point.
But
because to get somebody to buy something, you have to emotionally make them want to do it. That's why we have
invested.
trailers and commercials and shit. Exactly. So there's already that agreement that I am emotionally here.
But to prove the point,
if I want to be angry, I'm going to just find everything to bitch about and moan about instead of just engaging with something.
But if somebody were to say, well, what about you, and like, what about you guys in Madam Web and Morbius?
We just trashed on those movies.
Because they were not good. They were not good ideas. There's nothing artistically redeeming about them. I appreciate all the people who worked on both those movies, but they did not need to be made. They did not need to be made. Okay? So, no, it's not. And besides, they weren't made for artistic reasons.
And it only hurts the people that worked on it.
Yes. They were made for purely fucking
And yes, they had a choice.
Monetary reasons.
They took a check. I understand that. But like, there's arguments for everything.
Right.
All I'm saying is, I wish more people would go into things with an open mind. And yes, we have emotional bias in some level, yeah, of course.
Right.
But I don't genuinely want to go into a movie hating it. And if I think I'm going to, I'm not going to spend money on it.
What movie did we go to?
You and I said we were not going to go see Madam Web because we didn't want to.
No. But what I believe, I think it was Black Adam that we went into it. I didn't go into it hating it. Like, I'm not going to like this. But I do believe I went into it going like, I'm not going to be impressed. And I was actually fairly entertained. The second Shazam movie, I had zero expectations. Not to say negative, just nothing. I was indifferent. I could have cared less. I was thoroughly entertained by the second Shazam movie. So there have been times when I've gone into a movie going like, I'm not going to expect shit, or I don't think this is going to be good. And I have been really entertained. If you're I've never left a theater. I can't.
No, I never
can't
left.
Imagine,
even if it was the worst movie, I've never left.
I fucking still got my popcorn and my soda, dude.
I got my money's worth. I paid to watch a whole movie. I'm watching a whole fucking movie. I don't care how bad it is.
Unless you're showing me like something like completely like reprehensible.
Yeah, of course. Something that's probably
like
illegal.
A shitty movie,
I'm not
right? But like a shitty movie. I'm here. I allotted myself 3 hours today for the whole movie going experience. I got my popcorn and I got my soda.
God.
And nobody fucking
And I'm going to watch all this stupid shit with Maria Menounos.
And can I, yeah. And can I just tell you, I don't give a shit if you walked out of a movie ever. I do not care.
Yeah, I don't.
So you spent a bunch of money and then you went and tried to convince some poor fucking teenager who's working to make money for college that they got to give you your money back because the movie was bad when you know they don't have the power to do that? Way to traumatize a fucking high school kid, Melanie Mac. Oh.
Well, that's the perfect end of this.
Yeah.
We came off.
I went to Madam Web and saw strong female characters, and I do not believe that is real. It is not touched by God. It's made by Satan. That was her, right? Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.